Morning, everyone. This is Taylor Gardner with Western Marketing, health marketer here. Just want to thank you all for taking time out of your busy schedules here to hop on a webinar here with myself and Caden with Allstate. Today, we're going to be going over short-term medical plans. We're also going to be kind of talking about some of the ancillary products that they have that will go well with those short-term medical plans. Pretty similar to, if any of you do Medicare Advantage, it's kind of one of those things where you sell a plan, it's got a gap, you sell that product to fill that gap. So you just want to make sure that those clients are taken care of, in all ways possible for them. So with that, let's save all the questions till the end. We'll you can ask them. If I know them, I'll shoot you a message on them. Otherwise, feel free to ask them at the very end, and we'll kind of open it up for questions there. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand the reins over to Caden and let him kind of take it away.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Taylor. First of all, before we get started, if you haven't signed up for our Elevate Rewards program, go ahead and scan that QR code real quick. You earn points as you sell policies, and you can't redeem them unless you sign up. So might as well sign up if you're going to be selling these. But as Taylor was saying, we're going to be going over short-term medical as well as the ancillary or supplemental products that go with that today. A really unique kind of perfect storm all put together that created a lot of chaos, as you guys know, in the individual market in 2025, especially towards the tail end there during open enrollment, with those subsidies going away, big rate increases in the marketplace, max out of pockets going up. But I'm going to show you kind of how, because of all that turmoil in the market, you actually have a really solid opportunity to make more money and an opportunity to get your clients back on a more affordable plan, depending on what their situation is. If you haven't met me yet, which you probably haven't since I'm newer in the territory, my name is Caden. I'm up here, top left, field vice president in the territory. If you need anything whatsoever at any time, feel free to shoot me an email, give me a call. I'd be happy to help you out. If you want a higher likelihood of someone picking up the phone, give Sherry a ring. She's just more available. Typically, I'm on the road here and there, so not always available to take those calls. But by any means, reach out to whoever your favorite is. We're all happy to help you out. If you need assistance on more back-end contracting, updating your email, things like that, that's something you'd reach out to Lynn for. We know you have an absolutely amazing support over there at Western Marketing. Everybody over there does a fantastic job. So just use it as an extension of that. If you need a little more help or specific help on the Allstate products or platform, we can help you out as well. So today we're going to be going over the short-term medical and the supplemental products that go with that, or ACA plans, like Taylor was saying. But we do have quite a large suite of products on top of that as well. So the products we go over today, that's not our entire suite of products you can sell. If you have questions on any of those other products at another time, or want to do a deeper dive on any of the products we cover today, again, by all means, reach out. We want you to reach out. We want you to ask questions, and we are more than happy to be a good support system for you. So open enrollment is now over. Chaotic time, busy as can be, and then a lot of agents, relax a little bit in January. Rightly so. It's a busy time, and then February comes, and you start to be looking like the thinking man a little bit, right? Chaotic time where you can't keep up, and then it's like, okay, well, now I've got about 8 months until open enrollment starts again. What should I do now? Well, like I was saying, there was a lot of ACA market movement, a lot of marketplace turmoil that created a lot of chaos. So there's a few things that I would say are the best opportunity to focus on this year. One is selling marketplace alternatives, and I'll show you kind of the numbers to break down why. And two would be cross-selling, whether you're going through your ACA book and cross-selling, adding that additional protection since those max out-of-pockets went up, or cross-selling with the short-term medical plans, just filling in those gaps, protecting your clients better. So we're going to be going over some of both of that. So why exactly is the ACA or marketplace going through so many changes? What happened there? Just to fill in, I'm sure some of you are very experienced with this and know exactly what's going on, but just to fill in those who don't, during COVID in 2021, there were big subsidies or tax credits that were passed to assist people with health insurance. Those were set to last through the end of 2025. What happened there is they were about to expire into 2025. There was a lot of movement on the political front in DC as that shutdown happened, with one side wanted to extend those subsidies, one side did not. And in the end, the talks kind of fizzled out and subsidies were not extended. So the COVID subsidies ended end of 2025, and that's where you saw a really chaotic open enrollment where people for the last 4 or 5 years have been getting almost free health insurance now don't qualify for subsidies because it's capped at 400% of the poverty level. That means their health insurance might have gone up double, triple, not everybody, but just those higher income earners over the 400% poverty level. The approximate income where you do get cut off for an individual, 60 grand, you make more than that, you no longer get a tax credit or subsidy. Family 2, about 82,000. Family 4, about 125,000. So again, not everyone lost subsidy, but if you make more than that, depending on your family size, you all of a sudden get $0 of tax credits and you have to pay the full price of that marketplace plan, which a lot of people didn't even understand what the full price without tax credits was. So a lot of sticker shock that way. And on top of all this, not only did they lose subsidy, but the marketplace took an average rate increase of anywhere between about 20 and 25%, depending on state and depending on carrier. But that together with losing the subsidy made everybody's rates go up as well. So safe to say, perfect storm of a lot of turmoil, which drove prices up for essentially everyone, and especially those higher income earners. Not only that, but individual max out of pocket went up as well. So every year this has been creeping up. In 2025 is 9,200. It went all the way up to $10,600 for this year that with the open enrollment that just got over. So bigger max out of pocket exposures, higher premiums drove more people into catastrophic bronze plans and higher deductibles, higher max out of pockets, increasing the need for supplemental cells, those gap plans Taylor talked about, that I'll be going over in a second. Those are crucial as people have these bigger and bigger max out of pockets. A lot of them don't have $10,000 sitting around to pay for those expenses if they happen. So the best thing you can do for your clients is cross sell. And then with the rates going up, alternatives instead of going marketplace, looking at short-term medical or fixed benefit. So being quite the chaotic time. I was using this towards the end of 2025, but you can switch 2025 out and easily put in 2026. It is a chaotic time. There is no doubt there's chaos. There's no doubt you're taking more hard calls than you have ever taken, probably in the history of your health insurance career. But that does not take away from the fact that there is significant opportunity out there in the health insurance landscape for you guys to make a ton of money and save your clients by getting them on more affordable plans. So short-term medical is the solution in most states. If you aren't familiar with short-term medical, I'll be going over a lot of details today. If you are familiar with short-term medical, I'll probably repeat some details you already know. But I'm sure you'll learn a little bit along the way. So short-term medical, kind of a funny name because it's actually 3-year terms it's available for. So it's actually longer than a marketplace plan, the duration of coverage, but it's called short-term medical. I won't get into the history of that, but just know it's not just a short-term plan. It's actually even longer terms, 1 year, 2-year, 3-year plans in most states. You might have heard that short-term medical wasn't available anymore, or it was restricted to 4 months. It's kind of been this back and forth battle the last couple of years. Every year it seems like there's a new restriction or regulation. But essentially all you need to know here with all the words on the screen is right now short-term medical is back. As of August, the Trump administration announced a bulletin, brought short-term medical back in its fullness for 3-year plans in most states. You don't need to worry about this changing anytime soon. This typically only changes at the change of a presidency, which we're at least 3 years out currently. So you need to know what's available in your market. Good news for you guys. I know a lot of you are in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas City area. Anywhere in blue on this map, you are good to sell these multi-year policies. Dark blue is 3 years, light blue, you have 2-year plans available. And then the rest of these states and the other colors get a little more funky, but they're still available there. Montana is now available for 6 months, so that's no longer the 4-month rule. And then Texas, we have a unique solution where it's actually, we have a 12-month solution there, as well as our fixed benefit plans where short-term medical isn't available or short-term medical rates might be a little higher. I would highly recommend reaching out to us and we can chat about our fixed benefit plan. So who is the customer? We chatted about this a little bit, but short-term medical is essentially great for customers who don't want to pay high ACA costs and they need budget-friendly options. Maybe they're those higher income earners who lost subsidy, and now their ACA plan, instead of $800 for their family of 4, it's now $1,600 for their family of 4, and it's just too much to pay. Well, short-term medical could be a good opportunity to sell that family to get them back to that $800 mark. It's also great for people who missed open enrollment period. You can sell these year round with next day effective dates, so you're not restricted to just a month and a half of the year to sell these. If you're between jobs or waiting period requirement, looking to bridge the gap till Medicare, maybe you're an early retiree, all great reasons this plan makes sense. As far as benefits to the agent goes, the enhanced ability to cross-sell is very underrated here. When you save someone significant amounts of money on their premium, taking them from a marketplace to a short-term medical, all of a sudden you have a lot more spread, a lot more premium dollars that can go towards those cross-sells, which not only protect your client better, but also put a lot more money back in your pocket. You earn more while being a better agent. Short-term medical plans typically pay you 2 to 3 times as much commission as a marketplace plan would. So you can sell 2 to 3 marketplace plans or 1 short-term, you're making the same. And then also giving your clients that affordable insurance solution, getting them on a plan they can actually afford to pay for every month. So how does it differ and what's the big catch? So short-term medical is medically underwritten, meaning we underwrite these plans. It's essentially like pre-Obamacare health insurance where we ask some underwriting questions. You have to qualify. The underwriting questions is not a massive list by any means. It's not like a life insurance application. All the questions fit on 1 page. So pretty easy to pass, but you do need to be relatively healthy. The difference between that and marketplace or ACA is the marketplace is just based on how much money you make is how it's underwritten. So if you make a lot of money, you pay a lot of money for your health insurance. But if you just make a little bit of money, you typically have free or close to no cost health insurance. Also available year round, so no open enrollment periods. We talked about that. Next day effective dates. As part of the short-term medical underwriting, it doesn't cover pre-existing conditions. So this means if you break your arm a week before the policy starts, the policy is not going to cover that broken arm after it starts. Or if you have pneumonia or asthma you're dealing with prior to the policy starting, you're still eligible for the plan, but that would just be a pre-existing condition, meaning that condition, if you go to the doctor for, would not be covered, and you would just be paying out of pocket. Now, if it's a brand new condition you've never dealt with that pops up, then we'd cover it. And then there's also a prescription check to verify those pre-existing conditions in underwriting. One unique tool we have in our platform as well, I'm not sure if many of you have seen this, but a lot of agents are using this to save themselves time, especially with the shortened open enrollment period coming up for 2026. But it's our ACA marketplace versus short-term medical plan comparison tool. So in our quoting platform, you can actually compare side by side 2 different packages. You can build a marketplace package, like with this Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska plan, and then compare it side by side with a short-term medical package. This would essentially be family of 4, 35-year-old parents, age 7 and 4 dependents in Ashland, Nebraska. Preferred rates non-smoker. And then this would be a no subsidy. So they're not getting any tax credit here. Let's say that family of four is making 125 grand a year. So they just lost their subsidy. Last year, they were paying $700 a month for their health insurance. Now it went up to $1,600. This is also bundled in with our accident and sickness plan to cover their deductible, and then a $25,000 cancer plan. So you've got some protection there on the gaps of the plan. But on the right here, even better, you see a 3-year short-term medical plan has an even lower deductible than that bronze marketplace plan. We've got the same riders, and it gets their premium down for this family for all the way down to $800, which is about half the cost. And that's what you'll typically see when you're selling these. Is short-term medical in most states is around half the cost of a marketplace plan with no subsidy. So you save your clients significant money. This would be almost $10,000 a year you would be saving this client. The crazy part is you actually make more commission, about double to triple the amount of commission selling this lower cost plan than you do selling this ACA plan. So you're going to make a lot more money, and you're going to protect your clients for a much more affordable price. Not only that, but if you'll notice here, there's a 36-month rate lock on this as well, meaning that this 836 is the same amount you're going to pay for the next 3 years, where with the marketplace, I mean, this just went up 20%. If it goes up 20% again next year, that's a $300 increase. If it goes up 20% again the year after that, there's another $300 increase. You're just going to keep saving more and more and more money selling this short-term medical plan. So again, in a nutshell, short-term medical is great for healthy individuals who don't qualify for subsidy or they're outside of an open enrollment period. It typically saves them about 50% of the cost of their marketplace plan, and you typically make 2 to 3 times as much commission. It's a win-win for everybody. A couple additional highlights on these short-term medical plans. We have next day effective dates, year-round enrollments as well. There's a 7-day wait period for sickness, but that does go off right date. So if your effective date's 7 or more days in the future, then starting on the effective date, you wouldn't have a waiting period for sickness. We also have children only options, which are getting more and more popular. So a lot of people get coverage through their employer. Their employer pays for their premiums, but they can add their kids onto the plan. But often the employer does not pay for the premiums when they add those children onto their plans. That's actually the situation I'm in. So Allstate pays for my premium, great health insurance, but it would have been $10,000 a year to add my wife and 2 daughters to my group plan. So about almost $1,000 a month to add those 3 to my group plan. Instead, I put my wife and 2 daughters on a short-term medical plan, and the total premium for the year is about $3,000. So I saved $7,000 a year by having my wife and 2 daughters on a short-term medical plan. Even if my wife had employer coverage and wasn't a stay-at-home mom, I could still put my 2 daughters on a children-only plan. There doesn't have to be any parent on the policy with them. Nice part about the plans too is the deductible is waived on urgent care. You just pay a $50 access fee plus your coinsurance percentage. So if you're on the 0% coinsurance, you just pay $50 to go to urgent care. Nice and clean that way. Another thing that's huge is no social security numbers are required on these plans, meaning if you are selling to that market who's maybe just has legal status or asylum status and they don't quite have a social security number yet, you can sell those individuals on a short-term medical plan. We don't need any citizenship info, just name, date of birth, current address, and you got to be living in the United States currently, and you're good to get one of these plans. Again, 3-year rate locks are available to provide price stability, and we even pay level commissions on the first year and renewals of these 3-year plans. We've also got a plan called Recuro that I'll be talking about in a second that's going to give you nice prescription coverage and no cost telemedicine. So as far as plan structure goes, we have a lot of different options as there's a lot of different kinds of people out there. We have, lower tiered plans for people who really want to save money. We have higher tiered plans for people who want to pay a little more, want some copays and some additional coverage. But 95% of the short-term medical sales we have are the enhanced PPO plan right there in the middle. And most of those sales are the $5,000 deductible range as well. And then there's 3 co-insurance percentage options within that. You can go 50%, 20%, or 0%. Got $1 million max. Pretty basic how these plans work is, for the most part, you are paying your own medical bills out of pocket until you hit your deductible. Once you've hit your deductible, the plan starts kicking in and paying for those medical costs for you. So with the marketplace, you oftentimes have those preventative visits covered at first dollar. That's about the only change structurally that you're going to notice is, instead of having that preventative visit covered, you would be on your own until you hit your deductible. Recuro, this is a nice add-on. So one of the big gaps we had last year on our short-term medical was it didn't cover prescriptions. This Recuro is a nice little add-on for $10 a month. You can add it on for the whole family, not $10 per person, but $10 for the whole family. You get a $0 copay on 95% of the top 800 most commonly prescribed medications. So if it's a family who's taking medications that are on that formulary, I'd highly recommend getting the Recuro for $10 a month. It'll get you those savings pretty quick there. This also is going to give the entire family unlimited, no cost, 24/7 telemedicine visits. The average wait time to get on the phone with the doctor is about 7 minutes. They can prescribe you medications, diagnose over the phone, everything like that. Great for people with kids, stomach bugs, rashes, all sorts of stuff like that. This Recuro, after you sign up, just be aware that they'll get an email to register so they can get their ID card and access their telemedicine. If they do not register with that email, they can go to member.recurohealth.com. And if they need their member ID to register, they can just call this number right here. Once they're in there, they can see the covered prescription list. They can call the pharmacy help desk. They can schedule those telemedicine visits, add the rest of their family members on the plan for free, or anything else they need to do. Our short-term medical plan, also, in most states, you have 2 different network options. So you can go with an Aetna PPO or a Cigna PPO. Both are nationwide PPO networks. You're not going to be disappointed either way. In most states, Aetna is going to be your better network with better pricing, but in some states, Cigna carries the better network, better hospital access, and has the better pricing as well. So just got to compare both of those, but you can toggle between the 2 very easily in our quoting platform. As far as underwriting and claims go, so I touched on this a little bit, but this is the entire list of underwriting questions that you'll need to pass through to qualify. I'm not going to go line by line through those right now, but as you can see, it's a pretty basic list. You need to be relatively healthy, but nothing insane. Underwriting takes place at time of application based on this questionnaire and the prescription check. And then at time of claim, we'll look back 5 years for those underwriting questions just to make sure that your clients didn't misrep and say, oh, I didn't have cancer, when in reality they had cancer a few years ago. And then we'll look back 1 year for pre-existing conditions just to make sure this isn't a condition that they've been dealing with already within the last year, to make sure it would be covered. Couple premium discounts on our short terms as well. First one is 20% for preferred rate. So I'll show you when we're in here on the quoting platform, but if you can answer a few additional underwriting questions, pretty basic stuff like, do you own a motorcycle, or have you had more than 1 speeding ticket? You get a 20% discount on your premium there. And then also, if you do a single pay, which is only available for 12-month plans or less, but if you do a single pay, it's an additional 20% discount on top of that. If you're looking to rewrite your book, we have no early rewrite penalties or restrictions. So let's say someone's a year and a half into a 3-year plan, but you want to get them locked in for another 3 years. You can absolutely do that right now. Just when you're in there, when it asks if you're rewriting a plan, you just mark yes. And then we waive all the enrollment fees on the rewrite, so you don't have to pay that $35 application fee. You don't need to call anyone to cancel that old plan either. We will make sure that plan cancels in accord with the new plan, and so there's no lapses or double coverage periods. So that's it in a nutshell on short-term medical. Again, if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to myself, Sherry, or the Western marketing team over there. But let's dive into some of these supplemental plans, and then we'll dive into the quoting platform. So I'm a visual learner, so I like to put stupid little graphics on the screen to really hone in things and learn them. So we'll use Jimmy here on the one-legged stool example. This is essentially your client on a standalone health insurance plan. Whether that's a short-term medical plan, fixed benefit plan, marketplace, ACA plan, group plan, if you have standalone coverage with a large deductible, everything's good as long as you have good balance, but almost never you're going to have good balance forever. And eventually your client's wallet is what ends up supporting them, or debt, credit cards. If you're looking at a $10,000 max out of pocket plan, again, most people don't have $10,000 lying around ready to pay for those medical bills. So an important question to ask yourself, ask your clients is, can you pen that check? If you go to the hospital and you get a $10,000 bill, can you pen that check? If you can't, the answer is absolutely supplemental cells, getting some additional legs underneath that stool, some supplemental insurance. The nice part about these plans is we have found that when they're sold, um, acquisition costs improve significantly because you're generating more referrals and your persistency goes through the roof. I like to think of it, break it down real easy to a fifth grade level of just, hey, the goal here is we have happy customers, happy clients. If a customer tears their ACL, needs surgery, goes to the hospital, gets it all done, and they call you and say, hey, what's going to be my out of pocket exposure here? I don't have too much money in the bank. And you have to tell them, oh, I sold you just a bare bones catastrophic bronze plan with nothing else. You pay $10,000 and then we'll take care of the rest. That is going to not be a very happy client. But if you can tell them, yeah, no worries. That's terrible to hear that you tore your ACL. Good luck with the recovery. Good news is I sold you an accident plan to cover in that gap. It wasn't too much additional premium, but it's going to cover your entire max out of pocket. You're actually going to pay $0 out of pocket for the surgery, the hospital stay, the doctor visit, the x-ray, all the combined. You won't need to worry about the cost. That's going to be a very, very happy client. And not only will they be happy and stay with you for life, you didn't just earn a lifetime customer, but they're also going to tell their friends and family, hey, I got the surgery and I only paid $0 for it, because they're going to ask how much it was and how big of a strain it was. So when they say it's $0, you're going to get a lot of referrals as well. Number one plan that is sold here at Allstate Health Solutions on the ancillary side is our Plan Enhancer Accident Plan. This is guaranteed issue. So again, you can sell this with short-term medical, but you can also sell this with your marketplace customers really easily. It's an accident plan at its core. Benefit levels very wide range, 2,500 to 17,500. Typically, you want to match this to their deductible or their max out of pocket. That way you're just filling in that gap, like Taylor said in the beginning. There's a couple additional riders available in most states as well. So the first one's going to be cancer, heart attack, and stroke. That would pay a lump sum matching the benefit level you chose. Again, at minimum, taking care of their max out of pocket exposure, but possibly providing them extra dollars on top of that as well to go on a vacation, buy their family something nice, or just keep up with the bills, additional bills that come with those procedures. There's also a sickness hospitalization rider available. That way, if you go to the hospital for a sickness instead of accidents and you're admitted for 24 hours or more, you would get that same lump sum. Again, taking care of your deductible for you so you don't have to worry about it. There's no network restrictions, super easy to file claims here. You just submit a simple claim form and you get reimbursed. But again, if you have any questions on a deeper dive here, let us know. Another plan that's really solid is our Hospital Expense Protection Plus. Just like the name says, this is going to give you coverage for essentially everything to do with the hospital. So depending on which plan you go with, you'll get a different amount of hospital admission coverage, whether you're admitted for accidents, injuries, or anything else. You'll also get some office visits and urgent care visits on the plan D, E, and F. And all plans are going to give you ground ambulance and a very, very generous $25,000 of air ambulance coverage. I particularly like these hospital expense protection plans for anyone you sell a short-term medical plan to, but particularly those who live in more rural areas. And it's a higher likelihood that if something terrible happens, they will be taking an air ambulance instead of a ground ambulance. I would sell every one of those clients a hospital expense protection plan to get a med-air ambulance coverage. We've also got cancer, heart attack, and stroke coverage. These become hotter and hotter sellers every year because, unfortunately, at this point, everybody knows someone who has got diagnosed with cancer, gotten that terrible diagnosis. It's not a great time, terrible time for the family. Um, but essentially, you have 4 benefit levels you can choose from: 25,000 and 30,000 are again GI, they're guaranteed issue. And then the 50,000 and 75,000 levels would be standard issue, so you'd have to pass some underwriting. None of our plans cover pre-existing conditions, so I don't want you to get guaranteed coverage and guaranteed issue mixed up. If you already have cancer, unfortunately, you can't jump on this plan and get the $25,000 payout. You just don't have to pass underwriting to qualify for the plan. Dental is another hot seller we have, and this plan in particular, a lot of agents say is the best dental plan in the entire dental insurance industry. I know there's big dental carriers out there, but this one holds its own against even the top tier plans. The reason being is most dental plans have a $1,000, $2,000, maybe $3,000 annual maximum, and then you run out of coverage. This copay plan too has no annual maximum, so you can't run out of coverage here. It's also got no waiting periods at all. So you don't have to wait to get that root canal. You can do it tomorrow if you sign up for the plan today. You can get that crown. You can get those wisdom teeth extracted. Preventative services are all going to be at $0, so you don't have to pay anything for that exam, cleaning, and X-ray. This plan does have a bundle requirement, but pretty easy to satisfy. Throw an accident plan on there with it for $8 a month, and you're good to go. This dental plan is typically running about $45 to $50 per person per month. So again, it's a very premium plan, holding its own against the best of the best in the industry, and it's typically a little lower on price as well. For other individuals, lower utilization, maybe younger, you could go with the Value or Plus. And then if you're looking for orthodontia or braces coverage and you are under 19 years old, you can go with the Prime plan. It's our only plan that's going to provide that orthodontia or braces coverage. These 3 plans all get a bundle discount as well. So even though there's not a bundle requirement, I would still always bundle them with an accident plan or a term life plan. That way you get that bundle discount on top. Typically makes your accident plan about free. If you haven't used our quoting platform, I'll show you it in a second, but it's super easy to start quotes. You'll quote senior and under 65, same portal. All you need to start a quote and see a price. It's effective date, zip code, date of birth, and gender. A couple highlights, and then we'll get in here. ACA alternative. A lot of marketplace turmoil right now. A lot of people took massive rate increases. As those clients have to pay for their premiums and have premium exhaustion over the next few months, there's going to be a lot of people that drop off the marketplace and are looking for alternatives. So just keep an eye out, keep marketing throughout the year. There's a lot of opportunity to pick up new clients and get them on short-term medical. And again, you can rate lock 3-year plans, children only options, huge, no social security number, huge. That ACA versus short-term medical plan comparison tool will save you guys a lot of time and make the sales so much easier when you can put them side by side, not only for your mental game, but also for the clients to simply see, okay, this plan literally costs me twice as much and has the same amount of deductible. I'm healthy. It's a no-brainer to go short-term medical. Copay plan 2 dental, the one with the no waiting period, no annual max. It's very, very solid dental plan for a great price. Guaranteed issue accident and critical illness plans can go with ACA, can go with people's group coverage, can go with short-term medical. A lot of ways to sell those. And then we've also got an incentive trip I didn't touch on too much, but if you're a top 50 producer with us, you'll get to go to Cancun with us next year. And then last thing before we jump in the quoting platform, I know you guys have 1,000,001 carriers you can write with. Why would you want to write Allstate? Well, beyond the great products, the great pricing, you have incredible support over here. And I mean that white glove, red carpet service is what we shoot for. All of our call centers, whether it be the agent facing or client facing, are all based out of the USA here in Milwaukee. So you don't have to worry about waiting on hold for 45 minutes to get on a call center from someone outside of the country who can't help you out too much. We also speak agent. I have an agent background. I started in the game being an agent. I then opened an insurance agency, scaled that for a second, sold it, and came over here to the Allstate side. But I've been in your shoes. I know you guys have the hardest job in the industry, and I am more than happy to help you guys grow your business, scale your business, make more money, better protect your clients, and do anything I can to lighten your load along the way. Gonna get in the quoting platform, but let me just show my contact info one more time while I switch over to that side. All right. So when you first get into log into our platform, you're going to see this page. There's a couple good resources for you and quick links, guides. You can find your book of business and customers in here as well. But to start quotes, which is what we're going for right now, you're going to hit this quote and enroll button up at the top of the screen. And I'm going to go through this pretty quick here. But again, if you have any questions or need another refresher recap, you can watch the recording after this, or you can reach out with any questions. So I'm going to go March 1st is the effective date. We could do as soon as tomorrow, February 11th, but I want to compare to March 1st effective date ACA plan next to our short-term medical. I'm going to go with Missouri Valley, Iowa there, and then we'll go with female. 36 years old, a spouse and a kid. Go same birthday for the spouse, or looking a little older. Perfect. And a 6-year-old kid. So family of 3. If you want to use that comparison tool, what I would do is I would start on the health exchange tab. That is going to be where the ACA plans live and where the subsidy calculation will take place. So family of 3, we'll say they make $110,000 a year, which should get them to that point where they're no longer qualifying for subsidy. Perfect. So family of 3, $0 subsidy. Catastrophic Oscar, you're looking at about $1,000. Wellmark, kind of same thing. More Oscar plans, Medica Bronze. So we'll go with this Oscar Bronze, $1,100, $7,500 deductible. Add that to the cart, or let's just remember $1,100 on the ACA plan. Now, if I want to compare that, I would go over to the short-term medical plan. Answer a few of these questions. This is any health insurance, whether it's short-term medical or major medical, and that's a preferred rate question. It's not going to make them ineligible if they haven't had health insurance. Plug in a couple heights and weights. Hit no on the rewrite, but if you are rewriting an Allstate plan, this is where you would hit yes. And then because they're under the weight threshold that we required and they've had insurance, it's going to ask if we want to see preferred rate questions. I would always hit yes there. And that's where it's going to ask you about the motorcycle, the speeding tickets, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, anxiety, or depression. If you're no on all these, that's where you're getting the 20% rate discount on the short-term medical plans. Now, you can go with a 36-month normal plan, but I would recommend going with the 36-month rate lock. Let me get in here to the test environment so we can see some rates. Uh-oh, kicks me out. Let me jump back in. Sorry, guys, I wasn't in the test environment. Good news is you guys get to see it twice. Almost there. You guys also get to see how fast you can whip up a quote. Perfect. So you can go with the 36-month plan. You'll see some solid rates, but you will get a rate increase every year. So I would recommend doing the 36-month rate lock plan instead. It's a little more expensive during year one, but again, you don't have to worry about the rates jumping up every year, which is a huge advantage to your client and a nice little selling point. So remember, we were about $1,100 a month for the marketplace plan. You can go with our $5,000 deductible and a national PPO plan, which again, this is our most popular, 20% coinsurance, $496 for the entire family. If we want to add Recuro here, we can do that. I'm going to add the prescriptions and the telemedicine, but not the behavioral health. So we are now $506 a month. That is locked in, never going to go up for the next 3 years. So you're going to keep saving more and more money. It's less than half the cost of that ACA plan. That ACA plan, bronze catastrophe with an even bigger deductible, was $1,100 a month. So you're saving a ton. Now, what I would do is instead of, again, I wouldn't sell the marketplace plan or this plan, bare bones. I would go in here, find an accident plan. You can get this plan enhancer, $5,000 deductible plan. I'm going to go with the $5,000 accident plan. That way it fills in that gap and they don't have to worry about their deductible. And then I'm going to add the sickness rider as well here. That way, if they get admitted to the hospital due to sickness, they don't have to worry about their deductible again. So now we're still about half the cost of a marketplace plan, but they don't have to worry about their deductible for sickness or accident. Not to mention, the ancillary plans pay even better commission than the short-term medical, so you're just making more and more money by better protecting your clients. Let's add a dental plan now as well. If I go into this dental plan, they've got a young kid, they're younger themselves. So I'd probably go with the prime plan in case that kid needs braces coverage in the future. If you're not going to think he's needing braces, then you could go with the plus plan. But let's go with the assumption that kid's going to need braces. We'll go with prime, skip the vision. And you'll see they get the bundle discount on that dental as well. So instead of the $156 a month for the family of 3, it's only $133. After that bundle discount, 15% has been applied. So now we've got dental, accident, sickness, and the core health plan all on a 36-month rate lock, $724. You're saving this client about $6,000 a year. You make 3 to 4 times as much commission selling this as you would selling that $1,100 plan all alone. They've got better protection. They've got the dental added on top. Again, this is a win-win situation for your clients, guys. And it's going to be a huge opportunity for you this year. I know it's been tough. I know there's a lot of tough phone calls you have to make with people losing these subsidies. But I promise you, if you buy into short-term medical, start selling these plans, your clients are going to be in a better situation, and you are definitely going to be in a better financial situation as well. I do want you to properly sell these, though. I don't want you to sell them to the wrong client. When they make sense, they make a ton of sense. And when they don't make sense, they don't make any sense. So again, reach out to me if you have any questions. You're looking for healthy, you're looking for low to no subsidy. And when you have that perfect storm, your clients save a lot of money and you make a lot of money. Appreciate you guys jumping on today. It's been a pleasure working with you. I appreciate the partnership at Western Marketing with you, Taylor, and everybody else over there. We'll open it up for questions now, but again, appreciate you guys jumping on.
Well, we didn't really have too many questions from what I can see. We just kind of had is this still not offered in Minnesota? Which, no, sadly, Minnesota is not one of those states that really likes the short-term med. Does anybody else have any questions? You can throw it up in the questions box or throw it in the chat box. Either way, it gets through. We do have a question here, Caden. They're asking about what about mental or psych care? What's the coverage look like for that kind of stuff?
Yeah, great question. So the short-term medical itself does not have that coverage. But the Recuro plan, that one that costs $10 extra, and then when I was in the quoting platform, I opted to not go with the behavioral health. But for an additional $5 a month, you can add behavioral health on that Recuro plan. And you would get virtual therapy, counseling visits, psychiatric this stuff as well. So that's the only way we would have the coverage available is through that Recuro virtual service, $5 a month for unlimited behavioral health visits.
Do you want to touch on the Texas deal? Basically, kind of what's going on in Texas, because I know I can see we have a couple Texas agents on here
Sure.
just about short-term med, just so they're kind of aware of the limitations of it there.
Yeah, so Texas, when at the federal level, when Trump passed that bulletin bringing back short-term medical, Texas at the state level stayed on 4-month plans. We're not sure why, because they've always been very liberal with allowing short-term medical. But for some reason, they stayed back on the 4-month maximum. What we did is we partnered with a few other carriers. You wouldn't even know them. If I mentioned them, very small carriers, but they're essentially just holding the paper on two other legs of the policy. So we do a 4x3 where we have three 4-month policies tied together. That way, it's technically not breaking their state regulation, but it gives your clients in Texas the ability to have a 1-year short-term medical plan because we pair those three 4-month plans together. We just tie them together, level deductible, level premium. The deductible does reset every 4 months. But again, typically these clients are pretty low utilization and they're just having the plan for those catastrophes that jump up. So usually not too big of a deal there. The short-term medical premium in Texas is usually closer to 70%, 75% of an ACA plan with no subsidy. So it's a little more expensive percentage wise. We also have, though, a fixed benefit plan down there where if you want to do a training or want more information on it, reach out. But if you've sold Manhattan Life or a plan like that, it's very similar. I would say it has better coverage and better pricing. So I'd be happy to go over it with you. But it's slightly cheaper than the short-term medicals in Texas. So if you're looking for pure savings there, that's one I definitely recommend.
Perfect. Do you want to touch on the 3-year limitation a little bit? Just kind of how those plans work. Basically, kind of go through the 12-month, and then it starts over, and just kind of touch on that a little bit.
Sure.
There's a couple questions on that.
Yeah. So the back and forth battle happened. Right now, we have 3-year short-term medical plans available. How that works is they're essentially just renewable plans, where you can sign up on a 3-year plan and you just do underwriting and the pre-existing condition checkpoint just up front at time of application. And then you're good to have that plan renew essentially twice for a total of 3 years without having to restart your underwriting or reset that pre-existing condition time frame. The reason why you'd want to go on a 3-year plan instead of a 1-year plan beyond the rate lock is because let's say you only put your client on a 1-year short-term medical and they get some sort of diagnosis during year one that makes them ineligible to get another short-term medical plan. Well, now they can't pass underwriting. They got to go back on a marketplace plan and pay double for their insurance. Where if you sell them on a 3-year plan, if they get, some sort of diagnosis in year one that would make them ineligible for a future plan, they can still stay on the plan those additional 2 years, continue saving that money. In our example is about $10,000 a year on that family of four. They can continue saving that money for an additional couple years. They don't have to go back on the marketplace once their plan ends.
And what I usually suggest for those, everyone, is on these short-term medical plans, you do just want to make sure that you are kind of aware of your client's health. Let's say you do sell a 3-year lineup, and maybe on that 3rd year, maybe they do have some type of health issue. You want to make sure that you line it up with the ACA's open enrollment to where they're not going to get stuck without coverage. Maybe let's say, July or June or, even November. You want to make sure that you do get them canceled and on the ACA before their short-term medical plan actually runs out. That's always kind of a critical thing. You just want to get that timing down. So that is one thing I do stress. Just because short-term medical, losing that coverage does not trigger a qualifying life event or an SEP for them. So it is very important to make sure that you are kind of paying attention on that front, and let your client know. It doesn't hurt to touch base just with the client, every year, see if anything has changed health wise. That's just one that from experience that I always suggest that you want to make sure to do.
Yeah, great point there. And we don't have any early rewrite restrictions or cancellation restrictions or penalties as well. So let's say you write someone like middle of the year on a 3-year plan, so it would end up ending in July. I would recommend, during open enrollment period or around January, early rewriting that on a 3-year plan during that same time period. That way, in 3 years when it ends, it's ending kind of at the right time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's always important to do, just so they don't get stuck in the middle of the year where they're not going to be able to pass underwriting again, and then they just won't have any coverage. Um, Besides that, looks like we did have some question on the dental plans, Caden. Are there any dental plans mentioned today that are actually just full-blown standalone dental without any type of vision or anything else on them?
Yeah, so all of our, and I can go back here to the dental. So the copay plan 2 has a bundle requirement. So you have to sell it with like an accident or something. Again, usually you can find a low cost plan there. These 3 dental plans, the Value Plus and Prime, can all be sold standalone. So you don't have to bundle them. You don't have to add the vision. The value's typically 20, 25 a month. Plus is usually 30, 35 a month. And Prime's usually about the same as the copay. 45, 50 a month. You don't have to sell these together with another product, but they do get that 15% discount. So if you are selling a $50 a month dental plan, the 15% discount's about $7.50 a month, which oftentimes you can find an accident plan or a term life plan for cheaper than that, meaning the overall price goes down and you get a free product when you bundle it. So I'd recommend looking at the bundle, even though these can be sold standalone.
Awesome. Well, I think that is all the questions that we had. So why don't we go ahead and we'll wrap this up here. I do just want to point out we are going to have another webinar here Tuesday, February 24th. We're going to do kind of more of a deeper dive into some of the ancillary products. Particularly, we're going to look at the indemnity style health option that is really good in states like Texas and some of the states that don't allow the full short-term med there. So we're going to kind of talk about that at that date. So, keep your eyes out for that invitation. Western Marketing sends those out. If you're not subscribed to us to receive those emails, let me know. We can get you set up. It's pretty easy. You can also do that just on our website as well. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's a spot to sign up for our emails. But yeah, no, if anyone has any questions or if you're interested in getting contracted, please give us a call or send me an email. I'm going to get this recording sent out here, hopefully a little bit later today. But no, thank you again for everyone joining in and for the great questions. And yeah, feel free to reach out to us. Our phone number here at Western's 800-852-7152. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Taylor. Appreciate it.